Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the compassionate, thank you all for allowing me and Rania to be here with you guys today. And I'd also like to add a very special thanks to Senator Boozman and Senator Coons and all our good friends from the Senate and the House breakfast leadership groups. It is truly wonderful to be here with so many friends, old friends, new friends, but all dear to our hearts. And we especially value the deep and warm friendship with the American people. So I was truly delighted to have this opportunity this year to have another chance to exchange with you and to join in today's truly important gathering, and also allow me to say that it was a special pleasure to greet President Trump at the breakfast this morning. As always, I'm keen to work with the new administration and our many, many other friends here in Washington. But my friends, we are here today to honor God's role in our lives and in the future of our world. For decades, humanity has been moving at lightning speeds, surrounded by change on every side. The internet and social media are bringing new ideas and global events to the very phones in our pockets. New economic sectors and skills emerge, only to be bypassed for something new. Old ways of doing things constantly seem to be left behind. The promise of all this was a satisfied life, but we are not seeing that satisfaction. For too many, the promise of opportunity seems to dangle just out of reach. Our communications technologies have equalized access to knowledge, but not necessarily access to opportunity. And as a result, people now know all too well just what they're missing out on. And everywhere I travel, I meet and see people who feel left out, their identities disrespected, their voices unheard. More and more people feel the ground of life shifting under their feet. Yet there is ground on which we can stand that does not shift, that cannot shift the unchanging spiritual values that we all share. Tolerance, mercy, compassion for others, mutual respect, these principles unite and strengthen a civilized world. Because without them, technology and riches will fail to make life better. But with them, by the grace of God, we can find the solutions that people everywhere need. And it is those common ideals that bring all of us together here today, because they are the foundations of every religion, whether we bow in a mosque, kneel in a church, pray in a temple, or simply engage in the selfless act of kindness. We are all joined in faith. Spiritual values are powerful because they reflect the highest source of our good. It is God who leads us to come together as brothers, as sisters, equal in dignity, whatever our race or background or creed. And his two greatest commandments, to love God and love our neighbor, are recognized in Islam, Christianity, Judaism. So my friends, we need to renew our global neighborhood, focusing on what unites us, not what divides us, and standing together to get the job done. But this begins by asking, what kind of world do we want, not only for ourselves, but for our children. And what can we do by the grace of God to make it happen? And nowhere is the answer more important than in how we meet today's global terrorist threat. These criminal groups thrive on pitting neighbor against neighbor, east against west, faith against faith. They have launched a murderous assault not only on our people's lives, but on the very fabric of our civilized world. They prey on anxiety and fear to recruit the vulnerable and divide and weaken the rest of us. The longer these forces are able to consume regions in violence and deprivation, the greater the ripples worldwide. And we have seen an unprecedented global refugee crisis. And our small country has borne a massive burden. Today, it is the top refugee hosting country in the world. We have taken in millions fleeing danger, Muslim and Christians alike, opening our neighborhoods, our means, and our hearts to offer support and safe haven. But as a leader, it pains me to see how difficult the past few years have been on my people. But we take guidance and draw comfort and strength from the words of God, who tells us, "So verily with every difficulty there is relief. Verily with every difficulty there is relief. Therefore, when thou art free, still labor hard, and to thy Lord turn thy attention." So we will continue to work hard and to have faith in God, because our world cannot accept such a status quo of violence, deprivation, and fear. We all need to act in the battlefield and beyond. Security cooperation is vital, but we must also take back the battleground of ideas. And this demands a new emphasis on those values that uphold such a peaceful world, acting with mercy and compassion to gather the excluded and help protect the weak, serving our neighbors close at home and across the world by opening new doors of opportunity and hope, and exposing the lies that would undermine all our futures. For those of us who are Muslim, this fight is very personal. Those criminals are Khawarij, outlaws to our faith. And people nowadays talk about fake news. The Khawarij produce fake Islam. They selectively paste together the words of Islamic texts to promote a false and perverted ideology. And in reality, everything they are, everything they do, is a blatant violation of the teachings of my faith. So let us set the record straight. Among its many beautiful gifts, Islam, as with all other faiths, commands mercy and tolerance, calls on us to honor the dignity of every person, forbids coercion in religion, and demands respect for the houses of God. I'm also truly honored and very humbled to serve as the Hashemite custodian of Muslim and Christian holy sites in Jerusalem, a city that is precious and holy to all three monolithic faiths and must be respected always as such. This is the Islam I was taught, and so I teach my children. And so our faith is taught to Muslim children worldwide. those outlaws do not inhabit the fringes of Islam, for they are altogether outside of it. And I've called on the Muslim world to fight back boldly. We, like other faith communities, have a vast silent majority. But it is time for that majority to get loud and to be clear in their condemnation. Non-Muslims also have a critical role. Buying into the radicals' false claims only serves their evil ambitions. They want to pull societies apart and cut the ties of friendship around the world. They thrive on suspicion and misunderstanding. They applaud acts of Islamophobia and narratives of hate. Every inch along this path contradicts the values that give us strength and endangers the future we all share. This is why it is vital for leaders at every level to seek to understand other faiths and educate others as well. My friends, our faiths, whether Islam, Christianity, or Judaism, teach us that we are defined by our choices, not our circumstances, by the choices we make or the choices we don't, by our action or inaction, by kindness or cruelty, boldness or doubt, compassion or indifference. There has never been a more critical time to make the right and often very hard choices all around the world. Our futures as a global community does lie in the balance. But by working together, guided by our faiths, we could tip the scales firmly in the favor of peace and shared prosperity. Peace, God's mercy and blessings upon you all. Thank you.